Gigaverse is the fastest building game I have ever seen in my life. Some games like League of Legends release a minor balance patch every 2 weeks, but in Gigaverse land, major new features seem to drop almost weekly. The genre and style of the game allows the team total agility, freedom and creativity, and more, which creates an ever-evolving experience that gains more depth every single week. Now, if you want to start your journey, then let me break down everything you need to know about the Gigaverse Onchain crypto game. Please register with my special link below, as it tells Gigaverse that I encourage you to test out the game. I really appreciate it. So let's move on. The first thing we need to talk about is what is Gigaverse. So it was created by a guy called Dith, and Az has been helping a lot as well. He's the past major founder of the Pirate Nation project. He created the Good Luck Have Fun PFP project, or GLHF, which are deflationary NFTs that are the genesis and center of the Gigaverse universe. Now, they're not fully integrated into Gigaverse yet, but I don't think that will take too much time. Until then, ROMs seem to be the holy grail of Gigaverse. Now, Dith also hosted major auctions on the GLHF PFP project in the past to determine the leaders of the factions in the Gigaverse universe, and these went upwards of 15 Ethereum each for all 7 of them. So, very impressive project. Everything in this universe has been performing really well up against the general market conditions, so you know Gigaverse is definitely doing something right. Now, Gigaverse is currently the top on-chain crypto game, maybe alongside On-Chain Heroes, but I reckon Gigaverse is far more interesting, and it leverages proof of play technology inside of the game. Now, proof of play is the most scalable blockchain technology that exists, in my personal opinion, and it has on-chain VRF for truly decentralized random number generators that are integrated all the way throughout Gigaverse. When you're rolling a random die in the game in one way or another, it is all verifiable on-chain through the VRF system from proof of play, and that makes sure it's all decentralized and all perfectly above board. It's really, really cool tech. When you enter Gigaverse, you're up against this AI, the Gigas AI, and he is in control of everything. Now, the game itself is focused around a really core loop. That is a hardcore rock, paper, scissors gameplay loop. And for the time being, this is the core part of Gigaverse, but I expect this to continue expanding very rapidly. And in the next month, the game might look completely different. So let's get you started in the game. The first thing you're going to want to do is make an abstract wallet. Gigaverse takes place on the abstract blockchain, which has some really great quality of life features for those who are interested in gaming and a little bit less interested in the crypto side of things. All you need to do is create your own abstract wallet using a Google login or an email or a MetaMask wallet or whatever you might want to do. Then you need to bridge $10 worth of Ethereum, 0.005 Ethereum, preferably a little bit more for gas fees. You need to bridge that Ethereum over to your abstract wallet. You can use all of the tools that it has on the abstract website. Just click the little bridge button, follow the prompts, and you should be good to go. Me personally, I found that the relay bridge actually works really well for this. But when you do that, you need to copy the wallet address just like so and use another trusted abstract bridge if it's not the relay bridge. After this, you can log into the game and it will prompt you to spawn your noob and select your name. After this, you will then have to choose your faction. The game has 7 different factions: Chobo, Archon, Foxglove, Athena, Summoner, Overseer, and Crusader. Now, currently, there's no particular benefit to choosing any of these factions, but if you just so happen to own a ROM, I highly recommend choosing maybe the faction that aligns with your ROM, or waiting till later on the video that you might be able to get some clues about what other faction you might want to select. Now, when you first land in what I'm going to be referring to as the base, I don't know what its official name is, there are pots everywhere. You'll notice a few different things, but let's go through them all one step at a time. Now, there are pots everywhere. You will not be able to break them until you get gloves, but don't worry, you're not missing out on too much. They don't grant the best rewards in the world. Down the bottom of the map, there is a switch. You will need to flip that to open the gate and be able to play the game. Near this switch, there is also a 7-day chest in the bottom right-hand corner. You can get some really great materials from that. Every 7 days, you can return to reopen this chest. Above this, in the middle left, you can see the marketplace. Here, you can buy and sell almost everything in the game right from within your browser right there. The volume in the Gigaverse universe is higher than basically every other crypto game combined, or at least most other crypto games combined, and you can make a return on your $10 cost to start within a week or 2 to easily as you start getting into the game, acquiring materials. You can just sell them onto other players who really need those materials to continue progressing throughout the game. On the right of this is the Armour equipping station, useless to you until you've crafted or acquired some armor. And then above that in the middle is the Armour crafting station. When you find skins throughout the Dungetron, you can then craft them into armor items to give you a boost inside the game. There are two Dungetrons above this. In the middle you have the main one, the giant circular platform on the ground, and in the top right hand corner you have the Underhaul. Far more difficult, but we'll get into both of them shortly. Down the very bottom of the map here, you can see there's a fishing pond, which I expect to have future updates very, very soon. And by the time this video comes out, you might already be able to start fishing. And the newest feature, the juice vending machine. I'll get to that a little bit later in the video. Now let's have a look to the top right of the game. You can see how much energy you have remaining. Now, each Dungetron that you want to play requires 40 energy per use. This means that you have a base rate of 6 total runs per day. It might be 1 Underhaul and 5 Dungetron, whatever you want to choose. You can also do 10 maximum in either of those Dungetrons. Now, this could change as more updates come, but right now it's 6 base runs per day, outside of any energy you might gain from runs. Now, there are 7 factions in the game, which I covered earlier, and your selection affects which potions you can actually craft. In the top left hand corner here, you have a potion crafting station. For example, an Archon uses Archon materials to craft the healing juice. The Boom Juice requires Voxel materials, and the Charge Juice requires Summoner, and Armor Juice requires Chobo. Now, depending on the faction you chose at the start of the game, this will all be different for you. So make sure you manage that and have a look at all this before you go to buy a ROM, if that is what you choose to do. Now, we don't know if these factions have any additional added specialty in the game, but I'm sure that it will come with time, and there will be more and more that your faction helps determine as you're playing throughout the game. Me personally, I chose Archon because I'm a big StarCraft 2 fan and I couldn't pass up the opportunity. In the tutorial I showed you in this, I chose Crusader because my heritage is Italian and I love the Roman Empire and Crusades are great, right? So just choose whatever you enjoy. Now we get into some of the NFTs. The first big thing is the ROMs. They are the heart and soul of the Gigaverse universe outside of the GLHF PFP NFTs. Now, the ROMs can be purchased using your Abstract Wallet global wallet directly on the Magic Eden marketplace. Every ROM has several traits, so we'll cover them really quickly. Firstly, they have a size in megabytes. They go from 8 megabytes to 1 gigabyte. This affects how much energy the ROM gives you every single week. The faction of the ROM determines the types of shards and dust you gain per week, which you can then use to craft potions. 64 megabytes gives 25 energy per day. 128 megabytes gives 42 energy per day at some of the best bang for your buck. And 256 megabytes gives 60 energy per day, and so on. Now, the tier rarity goes from silver, gold, void, and then gigas. Now, this determines the quantity of shards and dust you gain per week. The gold gives you 2 shards a week, and the void gives 8 shards a week, but you can refer to the chart on screen for any additional information. Now we get onto the main gameplay loop of the Gigaverse, the Dungetron. Once you step on the giant platform, you'll have the option to enter the Dungetron to do a run. There is a Gigas run as well, but as you're a beginner, I would avoid that at all costs for the next 2 or 3 weeks as you start to level up your character. Now, you can enter the Dungetron for 40 energy and try to defeat opponents in combat. Now, the combat is relatively simple, but quite in-depth and nuanced behind the scenes. The first thing you need to know is that sword defeats magic, which is the pink diamond thing. Magic defeats shield, which is in the middle there, and shield defeats sword. If you need to try and remember this, just go from right to left. Magic defeats shield, defeats sword, and then sword wraps around and defeats magic again. Each action that you can use has attack and defense. The first calculation is always defense. So for example, maybe you both have 0 on your armor, you can see in the top left and top right with the little blue icons there. And then when you both use, say for example, your shield, it will fill up the 4 points from the shield first and then apply any damage calculations. The attack stat in your item then damages the opponent after the shield calculation has been completed. If you win the matchup, for example, sword into magic, then their magic is nullified for that turn. It does not apply anything and your sword applies everything completely. If you tie, then both actions activate. After each victory, you gain a variety of materials. You can sell practically anything in the game that isn't soulbound. You also get a choice of 3 options to enhance your noob in some way for this specific dungeon run only. I recommend filling any major gaps. For example, if your sword has no armor gain, then you might want to prioritize that. Or if your shield recovers 4 armor, but your maximum armor is 2, you're losing some efficiency there, so you might want to try and gain more maximum armor as you're going throughout the dungeon. Notably, scrap is soulbound since it is used to level up your character. Now, every 4th room, you also gain GIGA shards, which are used to level up your character for the Underhaul specifically, but we'll get onto that in a minute. If you use an action 3 times in a row, it cannot be used for 2 more turns, which is absolutely devastating, and the way you have used your actions actually carries through to future matches, so don't go too crazy on one action over and over again. Now, your opponent is only restricted 1 additional move if they make the same mistake. You can bring potions with you to use during the battle, however they will be lost if you are defeated. However, if you know you're going to come up against a really tough opponent and your potions aren't going to be any help, you can salvage them if you elect to flee between battles, using the ladder in the top left hand corner of the Dungetron. As a quick hint, I have noticed that the opponent favors reusing an attack if they are victorious with it. If they use sword against your magic and defeat you, then they are likely to use sword again. I've often found that they'll use them twice in a row because I've stuffed up and they keep winning, then they'll elect to go for a 3rd time, and if you can successfully predict that, you essentially get 2 free wins against the opponent. On this note, I would research the psychology of rock, paper, scissors, as I feel it is integrated into the back end of the game, but maybe Dith will make a comment on this video that's just saying that it's just a 1 in 3 chance every single time, which from some of the maths I've done behind the scenes might be quite possible, at least when you first enter a room. Now, as you level up, you will conquer the earlier rooms easier. I still struggle at floor 3, room 2 at level 25, so be patient. So next up, you're going to enter the Underhaul. You can unlock this in the top right hand corner by spending 150 GIGA shards. This is going to take you a lot of times defeating at least floor 1, room 4. Now, the Underhaul is way harder than the standard Dungetron, and you can use the fountain in the middle for a 40% chance at healing half your HP, or 60% chance you lose half your HP. So use this at your own peril, and I'm looking forward to more mechanics like this coming out in future updates in the game. Now, after each battle in the Underhaul, you gain more GIGA shards, which are currently used to level up your noob for the Underhaul. This provides different crafting materials, and so once you are level 20 or so, I do at least 1 of these Underhaul runs per day. Now, I also recommend you listen to the music for a bit, especially in the Underhaul, as I could bop my head to this for hours. After you exit your runs, you might want to start leveling up your character. You can level up basically anything about your character, and by clicking on the little fist to the left there, you can see the different levels you can increase. There are no hard rules when it comes to this, and really you should express the way you think you should level up from your own judgment. However, most players like to level up 1 trait significantly. This is helpful on floor 3 especially, where the opponents have a lot of armor, and doing 8 damage into 15 armor means you need to get a correct answer so often to be able to defeat them. I recommend upgrading your armor to 4 minimum, as 2 simply isn't enough, but preferably 6 if you can, getting your sword and magic to 4 armor gain at least to benefit from that, and then pushing for 1 major weapon of choice. I personally chose shield, as you can probably notice. After this, we have potion crafting. You can craft potions to help you during the dungeon using faction shards and dust. You can also buy them from the marketplace. Now, notable items include a large heal and damage potion to help you survive or finish off opponents. So if you need to get that last bit of 8 damage on a tough opponent frequently, you might want to start crafting or buying potions from others. Armor crafting is where the game starts to really hit its stride. Randomly during the Dungetron or the Underhaul, you can find cosmetic armor pieces. At the crafting station, you can then use scrap and energy to try and acquire powerful equipment. Hopefully you roll an epic gear. Now, once you have leveled a bit and sold some items you have found, I recommend buying some basic gear to equip, unless you have found some yourself inside the Dungetron, which is likely after maybe 2 or 3 days of play. It can improve your stats to the tune of 6 to 8 additional levels, depending on what rarity of armor you roll when you hit the little craft button. Now, after armor crafting, we have the juicy juice vending machine. In the bottom left-hand corner where you spawn, you can get juiced. Depending on spend, it lasts a different amount of time, with the biggest one being the 180 days juice. Now, for the first week of its introduction, you will also get special cosmetic items. Simply claim them from the rewards tab. Now, the 180 days of juice cost around $70 USD, or 40 cents per day of getting the juice gained to your account. Now, the benefits are actually significant in the game. Firstly, you'll get 420 energy per day instead of 240, which is an almost double. You could do 3x Dungetron runs at a time, so you can spend 120 energy to do 3 at once, which is really powerful for potions, since you only need one set of potions still, and you're effectively getting 3 times the amount of potions usage out of those 3 dungeon runs, and you have chance for more upgrades, which means that during the dungeon run, you can get 4 options instead of the usual 3. Now, you also get an extra potion slot, which is a 50% increase on potions, and you can hold shift to sprint for whatever reason, but I still like that. So for anyone enjoying and playing the game frequently, it is an incredible deal. Now, after that, we also have referrals. In the top right, you have a referrals tab. If someone signs up using your link, my link is in the description, you get 10% of all of their in-game purchases outside of the marketplace. This includes the cost to spawn a noob, as well as the cost to actually purchase juice and any future costs as well. Now, I highly recommend sharing the game yourself, as what's coming next, no one is ready for. Okay, now, the other thing we need to mention is AI integration. Because of the API infrastructure built around the Gigaverse, you can actually get an AI to play the game for you very cheaply. Now, Daydream's AI is something I haven't quite tested yet, but I want to make a video on it in the future, so subscribe if you want to see that. But it can do a Dungetron run for less than $1 per day. Now, some other AI brain NFTs, things like the Smallverse, can also automate the game for you, and they cost about $300 per NFT. Definitely see if you like the game first, but this is a really cool addition to the entire gameplay loop. Now, by the time this video launches, there will probably already be 500 updates and the game may appear completely differently. Also, please don't forget to use my link below to try the game. Gigaverse is a whole lot of fun if you just give it the chance. I hope you learned something today, and check out this other video recommended just for you.